Good morning, guys. Today the topic is functions. So now we are going to know what is functions. First, we have to know what is function. Then we go into the topic. So first, introduction of functions. Normally, while writing the C programs, we have used so much functions. So main functions, void function. So we have started the programs with the main function. So we have to know what is function. So function is a one or more statements or a task that performs a specific task when we are calling a program. It have a number of statements. One or more statements will be there that we will perform specific task that is known as function. So function is so important because if we have a large program, that it divides the program into the sub programs, and that sub programs each has one function, and it will call individually and it will give the result. So again, we no need to write the so many main functions if we have a function. So many subprograms can be divided into the subfunctions, and it can be read again and again number of times. So these are the functions. So this is why we use a function in a program. We use the programs in a small programs and also large programs. So what is the difference between using the programs in a large and small? Because in the small programs we will call the function only once, but in the large program, if we initialize globally, that is already I told in the structure of C that if we declare it globally, then it can access to the whole program. So that's why in the function also, if we declare the function in the main, that is globally, so it can use for all the subprograms. That is each and subprogram can be called that function. So this is the main advantage of the function. So what are the advantages we can see here? Code reusability. So again and again same function call be called for the program. So if we have four subfunctions can also call the single declaration. Then better readability. So if we read the same data again and again, it is a better readability. Then third one is reduction in code redundancy. So if we don't have a function subfunction, we use the main function again and again means it will have so much lines of programs. So the code will be redacted while using the functions. Once we call the function in the main, then again we need not to write the programs again and again. Same statements cannot be repeated. So memory also will be reduced. So code will also be reduced. So it's easy to debug and test because if the number of lines is less, we can easily debug what is the error and we can easily test that. So these are the main advantages. Then based on which we can classify the functions. So there is a need. So to classify the function, some classifications need to be there. So first, based on who develops the function, like functions will be defined. So it may be user defined or already defined function, that is predefined function. So we already know that what is predefined function, that is header file. Header file is stdio.h or conio.h. These are the some of the already predefined functions, and we can also define the function. So if we give the function by our own, that is the user defined function, then based on another thing we can also classify the function, that is based on the number of arguments passed. So we pass the parameters is also known as variable. So we pass the parameters. So the equal number of parameters should be matched with the calling function. So if it is matched, then we can use the functions there. So that is based on that we classify the functions. The first thing is who develops the function, that is user already defined. So second one is number of arguments function accepts. So if we need to accept the number of passing and should be matched with already we given data. So called and column should be equal, then the function will be processed. Then based on who develops the function, there are two types. So classification is two types. In the classification, first one is who develops the function. So who develops the function is two types. That is library functions. Already I told that. Then user defined function. Based on that, functions will be classified. So first one is library functions. Library functions means we already know that it is a predefined function, that is built-in function. So already developed by someone. So printf statements and scanf statements we use in the normal C programs. That is the library functions. So user defined function means we usually we take the addition program. So sum. So if we want to sum two numbers, we will give sum is equal to a plus b. So sum, we take that sum is a user defined. So if we need to write five times the same program's addition of two numbers, So we will use sum again and again. We need to write the programs for that. So using the function, if we declare after the header file, that is the function void sum, or if we need to return something, we use int sum. If we declare that in the header below the header file, it is one of the function. It can be accessed to all the subprograms. If we need to write the 5 times, we don't need to write 5 times the coding. So once you write the coding, then you can call again and again using the function that is mentioned below the header file. This is the user defined function example. Then function prototype. What is prototype? So function prototype is also known as function declaration. So first compiler must know how many parameters we have passed and what type of parameters we have passed. That is how we expect the output should become received. That is data type, how we call the programs, and how it will return. So this is the function declaration. Where we will declare. Usually we will declare in the first line, that is int. Then parameters, we will give variable name, then inside that parameters. The same way here we will also declare the function prototype. So we will enable to check the arguments while calling the function. It matches to the main function. So the syntax of the function prototype is return data type, function name, that is data type we will give, then variable name, variable data type too. We can pass the same arguments again and again. So int a, int b can be called in the first line of the function. So usually we will declare in the same way. In this we can pass the arguments, or we can we no need to pass the arguments. Whatever may be, it will function. So based on this, there are 4 categories the how we give, pass the parameters. So that we can discuss later. Then function definition. What does mean by function definition? So function is defined as space allocated in the memory. That is how we define the statements. Based on that, we will have the function definition. So function header and function bodies are two of the function definition that compromises the two parts. So syntax of the function definition can is here. That is return data type, return name. That are the two definition. So these are the function definition. Then last one is function call. So function call is, we call the function from where we pass the arguments. In the first line we will declare the int a and int b. So where we will call the program. In the last we will call the program. Sum is equal to a plus b means from where we will call the variables from the first line where we initialize. That is a comma b. If we give the arguments, then it will pass the value from there. Initialization, we will call the value in the call function. So these are the call function. So how the function will work? So in this program we can see the function declaration, function definition, and how the arguments pass and what is function. So void main, we initialize the function here. So first line I told that there will be declare the function. So in this arguments will pass. So int abc I told it may have a more than 2 int or 3 int. So int in that function declaration we are declaring 3. So int abc is a variable. In that 3 int abc are called. So from there we call the function. I told that from the initialization we will call function. So abc we are initializing there. From that int x, int y, int z. So in that place we are calling the function. Actual arguments we are passing there. So function definition I told that how we perform the function. That is the definition for the function definition. So we what function we have to perform there. Int abc is equal to int I, int j, int k. These are formal arguments we are passing there. These are the functions to be done there. The printf statements, scanf statements also included in that. So then again we will return the value. These are the working of the function. So already I told that what is function, what is function declaration, what is function definition, and what is function call. These are the basics of the function. So thank you.